Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Michelle. I'm your intuitive bestie guiding you into alignment. I'm excited to see what message wants to come forward today, so let's just go ahead and dive in and see what it is the person watching this video needs to know or hear at this time. Okay, we have the Kraken, the number 38. Your success and happiness lie within you. Now 3 and 8 equals 11, so I do feel like there's a reminder here of your alignment, but to recognize too that the alignment starts from within. The answers lie from within. You don't even need a channeled message, a tarot reading to guide you in that direction, but again, that is the purpose of these readings, is to check in with yourself, see where it is that you need to maybe course correct, adjust, or just be reminded of your own internal power. Never rely on anybody outside of yourself to give you the answers that, again, are within you. So there seems to be, this desire for success, for happiness. Perhaps there's a goal that you're trying to reach, something you are trying to manifest in your life. And so you're being guided to remember that it all starts from within and then it starts to reflect outward. It's like a ripple effect into your external reality. Let's just see if another one wants to come forward here. So we have the number 4, the Merman. The longings of your heart can become actual realities. So a reminder as well of the desires that you have. They are placed on your heart for a reason. There is a divine purpose to what it is that you want to see and experience in your life. Knowing that it is possible to achieve and reminding yourself of that every time you have a limiting belief, every time you receive some sort of negative projection or even a negative experience in your 3D reality, don't allow it to distract you from the truth that your desire is your desire because it was heaven sent, okay? It was sent from the divine, it was sent from a higher self. There is a version of you that already has that success, that happiness that you are longing for in your current state right now. And the number 4 as well, I feel like there's a reminder here of your protection, of just how, again, aligned, how blessed, how favored you are. Honestly, I feel like this is reaching a collective who knows this inherent worth within them, but just enjoys being reminded, because I know that the process can be quite strenuous when we're feeling, we're sensing, we know things intuitively, but the physical reality is what we're living day to day, and so it can be frustrating when we're not seeing that. But this reading is just a reminder to stay in that presence, stay in that knowing that the reason you want something so bad when it comes to your manifestations, your goals, your desires, is because there's a version of you that already has it. And the way that you're going to align those two versions of self, the version of yourself in this 3D reality that is longing for this desire and the version of yourself that already has it, the way to bridge the gap between those two is to sit in the knowing and feel this within, embodying the energy within, pulling and calling that version of yourself into your reality seems to be very significant. I feel like a lot of you are already in this process, like you're already sensing these changes rooting down in your being because you've been doing the identity work, because you've been, again, working through limiting beliefs, recognizing your wounds that have been holding you back from this desire. And I feel like you are in process of really integrating that higher self, which again is just kind of the version of yourself that I feel like is free of the fear, the worry, the stress that you're experiencing right now, is already experiencing that, ideal reality. That version of yourself, again, is coming closer and closer to you. And I do feel like you're in this process of integration right now. So this message is finding you as a reminder of your alignment, of a reminder of your protection, but also to just kind of guide you back into, again, that alignment, guide you back into those thoughts when you do start to doubt, when you do start to worry, knowing that, again, you're exactly where you need to be at all times. You're here for a reason. You're experiencing what you're experiencing because it's assisting you in getting there. So even the challenges can be opportunities for growth. The challenges can be opportunities for higher elevation. So that seems to be what's coming forward with those two to start here. But let's get some tarot for the collective watching here as well. Okay, we have the 2 of Wands here on the bottom. So you have the King of Wands, the Chariot, 7 of Pentacles, the Emperor, and 5 of Cups. And I'm getting a ringing in my left ear. I feel like you are very intuitive, okay? If you're seeing this message, I feel like you are aligned to spirituality in whatever way resonates for you, but I do feel like you receive messages, you receive downloads, you get divine ideas. And there's something about where you're at currently where you're actually taking those, I'm hearing taking them and running with it. Like you're putting things into action. You're creating from a space of inspiration. You're allowing the ideas, the desires, the longings of your heart to actually be guiding you into actionable steps instead of just kind of sitting, waiting, wanting, waiting for somebody to save you, waiting for, these perfect opportunities to just arrive. I feel like you have really been creating the space around you through your aligned action, through your certainty of yourself, through the certainty of your power, to where opportunities and blessings have no choice but to fall into your lap, but to fall into your field. But again, this is like you also getting after it. I feel like maybe you're feeling like a little bit of stagnation at this time. If that's the case, I do feel like you're about to kind of like jumpstart into action, but not action that again is stressed, not action that is stemming from a place of fear where you're telling yourself, oh, I'm running out of time. If I don't do this by this time, it's never going to happen. This is aligned action where, again, you feel that stroke of inspiration and you actually start moving towards a certain goal, a certain desire. You get an idea of maybe I should reach out to this person. Maybe I should go to this place. Maybe I should apply for this job, do this thing, right? You're getting those ideas and you're actually starting to really put power into your thoughts, put power into the ideas. Again, knowing that there's so much like divine messages that are trying to reach you at this time. And I feel like you've been tasked with really sitting in the truth of this connection that you hold. But you are somebody who has experienced quite a lot of redirection, disappointment. But these are things that I feel like you've been very empowered to rise above. Again, that energy of challenges and frustrations being tools that you can use, being opportunities for elevation. With a 5 of Cups energy, it's like I definitely sense that there have been many times on your path where you wanted things to go one way. You invested your time, your energy into something, and then it didn't bear fruit. It didn't turn out the way that you had hoped. But the divine is always reassessing, redirecting, and aligning you to what it knows you want for the long term, your wishes that you've planted, the seeds that you are watering, they're sure to bear fruit. But there is this level of patience. And I do feel like a lot of you are healing kind of this masculine energy here with the King of Wands, the Emperor. You may have father wounds, wounds around authority, around leadership. That may be something that you've been actively working through. Even with the Chariot too, it's like you want this forward momentum, you want this growth, you want this elevation, but perhaps some of the limiting beliefs that you've had to work through are the beliefs that tell you that maybe being in power is a bad thing, having a lot of success is negative, and these could be very deeply rooted in your subconscious just based on your upbringing growing up, things that you witnessed throughout your life, even societal expectations or standards as well. And so these are things that I feel like you are actively moving past. With that King of Wands energy also, it's like this rising phoenix energy where you have experienced rock bottom. I'm hearing more than once. You've experienced many moments where it felt like rock bottom. It didn't feel like it could go any lower. Somehow it continued to go lower. But the beautiful thing about rock bottom is that there's nowhere to go but up. And I feel like you've really taken that opportunity to view your circumstances as, again, stepping stones into your higher elevation, 2 of Wands. You're going to start seeing a way forward. So if you are still sitting in this path of confusion, you don't quite know where it is you're being led, that's going to be revealed to you, I think, as you continue to just follow those like inklings that maybe feel insignificant, right? Like something as insignificant as, oh, I want to check out this new coffee shop. Oh, I want to, I'm thinking of this friend I haven't seen in a while. I should just reach out to them. Those little things, they do build up, and you never know what idea is going to bear fruit to your manifestation. It could be that you contact somebody who then is like, oh my God, I'm so glad you reached out. I actually have this opportunity, or I want you to meet this person. You may go somewhere and meet somebody or see, a posting for a job that you never would have known had you not gone to that, right? These are just examples of, I feel like, what it is that you've been guiding yourself towards is really just the state of trusting your intuition, trusting your divine guidance, trusting the ideas that fall into your mind and knowing that they are divinely sent. That seems to be important. Yeah, 9 of Cups, wishes manifested. This is a wish fulfillment card. I feel like, again, you're on the precipice of receiving a major manifestation here. And the main energy coming forward is to first recognize how far you've come, how much you've overcome, so that you can be reminded of your power, but also continuing to pull upon that feeling of inner peace, that feeling of inner success, inner recognition, inner happiness and abundance. Because as you work through that and as you really sit in that state, and I'm not saying you have to like be in that state 100% of the time, I don't think that's realistic. You're allowed to have moments of stress, you're allowed to have moments of fear, moments of worry, but it's that constant redirecting into the truth, constant redirecting into that state of inner abundance. And that is going to allow abundance to, again, have no choice but to be your reality moving forward, in your reality, in your relationships, in whatever pursuits it is that you're trying to get after. I do feel like this is a collective who loves so deeply. I'm feeling this very like heart opening space. Maybe you're also trying to open your heart space more because you recognize that through the disappointments that you've experienced, there's part of you that has maybe hardened. There's part of you that maybe has tried to create some sort of protective layer around your heart. And of course, you've been earning and gaining discernment across your path. You've been gaining insights on what kind of like things you need to look out for, what kind of red flags you need to be aware of. Oh my gosh, my nose is getting so itchy. As you navigate through your path so that you can have that discernment and be like, I recognize this type of behavior, I recognize this type of pattern, and I want to actively break free from it, or I want it to not impact me as it did in the past. Like, these are the things that I feel like you're gaining through your experience. But again, there's something here about you now knowing that you have this level of discernment, knowing that you have this level of experience under your belt. You're now being asked to open your heart so that you can actually receive the goodness that you deserve. Again, that you are feeling internally. This is a collective who, again, has been working so diligently on finding peace within, regardless of your circumstances. You may have experienced a lot of trauma through your childhood, even just trauma. I'm hearing over the past 5 years maybe has been extremely traumatic, where there are certain things that you're still actively healing from. I'm hearing like PTSD being significant here as well, where maybe you like get flashes of traumas that have happened either over the course of your lifetime, or again, these past 5 years being a very significant time for this. And I do feel like as those come up, there's something about you being able to transmute that much quicker. Whereas before, maybe a memory would come up, a painful experience would come up for you, and it was debilitating. You couldn't move forward. You maybe like wanted to, I'm seeing like a dark room, maybe wanting to lay down, just not wanting to be around people, isolating, these types of energies. But I do feel like there's something now where when it comes up, you're able to recognize that and not allow it to pull you back from the forward momentum that you've initiated for your path. Knowing that you can still recognize that, yes, these things happened. Yes, this is part of my story, but it doesn't define what it is that I'm moving towards. It doesn't define who I am as a person. That seems to be an important focus area for you as well, as like your identity again, what it is that you identify with, how much you allow your past pain to dictate what you feel you're capable of, what you feel you're, able to really call into your life. Okay, lovers, for some of you, maybe you're focused on attracting more love, again, with that heart opening. Maybe this is about a divine partner, being willing to not allow pains of the past with past relationships, past people, to harden you so much to the point where you don't open yourself up to the right person. Outside of that, though, not even just, romantic love. This could be love within relationships, even love for anything, like your hobbies, your career, the things that you really dedicate your time and energy towards. There may be a wound that you've been aware of, or maybe this is bringing awareness to it, where you recognize that you've hardened yourself from certain aspects because of your past pains, because you've been disappointed. This could be like thinking that you were going to get a dream opportunity and that got taken away from you. Thinking that you had a best friend that was going to be with you for life that ended up, backstabbing you, right? These types of pains have been coming up throughout your path. And now I feel you're at a point in your elevation where it's time to leave that behind for good. You've gained the discernment, you've learned the lessons, you've closed out the cycles. Now it's time for this new cycle to begin, which is filled with, again, this abundance, this happiness, the success that started from within that is now filtering out into your reality. So expect more love in your life. Yeah, talking about closing out cycles, we have the world here. You've closed out major cycles. This is a collective who I feel like through the last few years, you've closed out things that may have been hindering you for your entire lifetime, where there were repetitive cycles throughout your path, throughout your journey that kept coming up. And in the past, you allowed it to continue because you maybe didn't have the level of awareness. Maybe you just felt like trapped by your conditioning, right? There's something that has shifted within you to where you can see it for what it is, and you're choosing to break free from it. You're choosing to close it out. You're saying, I recognize this pattern. I don't want to be part of it anymore. I want no parts of this. This could be, again, cutting off like toxic relationships, toxic mentalities, just things that, again, you find yourself, whenever there's like a repetitive situation that keeps arriving in your path, I feel like you've now come to the awareness to where the reason this keeps showing up is because I didn't pass the test, right? And I know that can be such a difficult thing to hear when you're going through the thick of it, when you're at that rock bottom moment. But I feel like this is a collective who, again, is like rising above, getting that eagle eye perspective, removing themselves from like the attachment of the emotions with the human experience, and kind of seeing things from a soul level of understanding that you're here for the lessons. You're here to integrate experiences and to rise above your challenges. That is part of your like soul calling, soul knowing. And so when you can look at it from this higher perspective, look at it from a soul perspective, I feel like you've really been able to identify, okay, this is a pattern. I recognize that I always fall into this. I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to choose to break free from this. And then once you break free from it, it actually closes that out. It closes it out. And then anytime something similar tries to arrive, it doesn't even have a chance to fully enter your field. You may get like hints of something, or maybe like an initial conflict, but it's not something that, torments you. It's not something that you have to really deal with because you cut it off before it even gets to that point. And the reason that you can do that now is because you've experienced it enough times, and then you passed the test, you rose above it. So this is a beautiful reading because I feel like this is just reminding you of how powerful you truly are and how much progress you've actually made. So if you haven't given yourself a pat on the back, if you haven't given yourself that recognition, start giving it to yourself. And I do feel like through this recognition of yourself and your journey and your strength, your resilience, your faith, your level of clarity that you've accessed within this experience as well, all of that is going to, again, make these blessings come into your life just so easy. It's going to just fall in so easily because you've removed blockages. You've removed that kind of layer of hardened protection and leaned on the faith that you are protected. You're just inherently protected, and you're protecting yourself by making the choices that are aligned with this higher version of you, the higher version of you that you want so badly to be. I feel like it's becoming, again, closer and closer. You're just becoming that person. You are becoming your higher self actively. As you're watching this video, I feel like there are integrations that are taking place. There's like awakenings that I feel like certain things, like I'm seeing just like a lot of intuitive hits. Maybe like information is being downloaded to you throughout this message, or recently, again, this is confirmation of all of that. But you've come so far, and I'm hearing too, you've come so far not to just come so far. There's so much more to life that you have yet to experience. You have yet to experience. But by actually choosing to move away from the things that felt chaotic, that felt unstable, by making that choice to bring yourself to a new foundation, no matter how difficult it was, because again, this could be something that was just conditioned in you and you had to actively break away from that conditioning, you're successfully doing it. And it's been a very confusing and emotional journey, but your intuition has been guiding the entire way. You are so intuitive. You are so tapped in. I feel like you're somebody who sees a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicities. Know that that's not for no reason. A lot of the times too, this came up with one of my friends. We were talking about the fact that, sometimes when we're in the hardest times or when we're not seeing our manifestations actualize, we get flooded with signs, with synchronicities, the angel numbers, the coincidences that really aren't coincidences, that just feel like perfect alignment. We're getting all of these messages constantly that are reminding us like, you're in alignment. It's all happening. Even though you can't experience it right now, even though you can't feel it right now, you're getting all of those messages because your higher self, your guides, your angels are trying to remind the version of yourself that's in this season of struggle that this is sure to pass, okay? And so I know it can be frustrating when you're like, okay, I'm tired of seeing the signs. I just want it like already here. The signs are showing up for you because you need that reminder, because you need that support, because you want, I feel like your angels know that you need it. Your angels, your guides, they know that by sending you those messages, by sending you those synchronicities, it'll hold you over just a little bit longer, okay? You can rest now, Hangman. It's been a sacred pause, okay? So again, if you're feeling this energy of stagnation, Trust it's for a good reason. I do feel like you are being called to more rest at this time. Listen to those nudges if you feel tired, feel like you need to take a rest, feel like you don't really want to do as much socializing during this time. It's okay to be in this state of, stagnancy, knowing that you're actually integrating again that higher version of self. I feel like it's coming closer and closer to you. And so your body, your nervous system is actively trying to regulate so that it can hold that space, so that it can hold that version of yourself in your physical body. So listen to your body at this time, pour into yourself, make sure that you're nurturing yourself, make sure that you're nurturing your vessel, because I feel like it's going to just allow that integration to go through much smoothly, because if it doesn't, you may experience like such deep nervous system irregulation that it makes you almost like back off and be like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much. It's too chaotic. It's too scary. The fears really start to come up. The limiting beliefs really start to come up. But if you can hold through that, if you can stay grounded through that, knowing it's sure to pass, knowing it's old energies that are being cleared up for you so that you can step into the new. And then as soon as the stagnancy is released, things are going to start moving. Okay. That chariot energy, you're going to start like leading yourself into a completely new reality after a time of pause. But it's almost like you're having to, again, ground and regulate because you've left such a chaotic experience. And again, this could either be just like your lifetime of trauma, or the past 5 years is really significant, or even since 2020, okay? As you left behind that, you're still actively acclimating to the new reality that is no longer dealing with some of the traumas that you recently overcame. And so this takes time, this takes patience, and you're really being stretched with patience at this time. But I do feel like this is a collective who is aligned to receiving some sort of love forward message of collaboration, okay? We have the Knight of Cups, Three of Pentacles. I can't show that, but this is like a very aligned job offer, a collaboration, somebody who maybe sees something in you, wants to invest in you, wants you to guide them. Okay, if you're like somebody who offers services, this could be people coming to you who want to build community with you, who want to work under you. Take it as it resonates always with these energies. But I feel like you're about to receive some sort of message as proof of all of this work. And again, it's been an excruciating wait. It's been the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. Like I keep seeing like this push-pull type of energy. But let this be your confirmation. You've done the work. You're integrating your shadow. You're allowing the unknown to continue to lead you, just trusting through this blind faith, through this blind trust of the divine, and then listening to those nudges that you get, no matter how big, no matter how small. Continue to listen to your inner voice, the inner voice that is very calm, that is very sure, that is certain. Okay, not the voice in your mind that again is riddled by fear and anxiety and rush and do this, or otherwise it's never going to, work out, or oh my God, you're like, I'm just hearing like a lot of like self-deprecation as well. Maybe that's something you've been actually working through, trying to talk to yourself more nicely. All of that is impacting this next chapter of your life that's unfolding. Four of Wands, a wish fulfillment again. Feeling stable in your home, your family, evolving in your relationships. Okay, if you're like looking to build a partnership with somebody, looking to build a family, expand your home life, all of that is in alignment here. And I think we started the message with that card of 11, I think I had said, but this is 1111. You made a wish. It's coming true. It's coming true, and everything that you're experiencing right now is aligning you to that. The main guidance here is to trust yourself. Trust yourself. Talk nicely to yourself. Talk to yourself like your own best friend, okay? I feel like we can often be our own worst critic, and this is something, again, that I don't feel like is new to you. I feel like this is something that maybe is just a reminder if you catch yourself in those negative thoughts, but I do feel like you've been working through that, and it's about to pay off. It's about to pay off because by talking sweetly to yourself, by encouraging yourself, possibly inner child work being significant here as well, but all of these wounds that you've been pouring love onto rather than resentment, rather than disappointment or victim mentality or woe is me mentality, right? Like everything sucks. My life always, turns out this way. Everything I try, it fails, and all of these things. Like I feel like you've really left that behind, and you're sitting in this state of inner peace and trust and knowing, even when you don't have the full evidence. I feel like something within you has shifted, something within you has changed. And that change, again, is the key That is the key for this new level of abundance that you're stepping into now. So expect to receive offers of abundance, of love, of commitment, of devotion, because you chose this for yourself first. And so again, your reality is going to have no choice but to mold to what it is that you have called into your life and what you've aligned yourself to. I think that's the message. I'm sending you so much love. What a beautiful time together. Thank you for spending it with me. Don't forget to subscribe for future readings. I do have personal offerings in my link below as well. And I'll see you in the next message. Mwah.